It's that time of year again. The Blitz Fair is rolling around the corner. And if you wanted to hear about what tanks might be featured in the Blitz Fair, the release date for the event, and how you can get your hands on free tanks like the IS-2 Shielded for simply logging in, then stay tuned for today's video. As always, I try to make my channel the #1 news spot for World of Tanks Blitz. So if you enjoy this content and you're not subscribed, make sure to do so. I post daily content with tutorials, guides, and just tank reviews. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything you're going to want to know about the Blitz Fair. So let's get straight into it. Starting off, we have this Soviet Tier 7 Premium Heavy, the IS-2 Shielded, otherwise known as the IS-2S. And it's great news for all the free-to-play homies in the chat because you can get your hands on this vehicle for absolutely free. I was honestly thinking that Wargaming was originally going to be putting this as part of the Blitz Fair main reward next to the snow globe, but it turns out that this is a fully different event. Starting December 4th, Wargaming is going to release an advent calendar. It is going to be 15 days long. All you need to do is log in every single day, claim the reward, and log off. You don't even need to play a battle. You literally just need to log in the Blitz and claim the reward. Because of this, I have to say, massive dub to Wargaming. It's very rare that Wargaming has a big old W, but yeah, not only that are you able to get the vehicle for absolutely free, but there's also a bunch of other rewards you can get. Stage 1, you get 5 gold boosters, which is equivalent to about 100 gold if you win in Tier 10. Then we have 3 times 5 boosters at Stage 2, really solid. You get a camo, that's really good, especially if you're free to play, because you know how tricky camos are to come across, especially good ones like the Christmas-themed camos. Stage 4, you get 2300 XP. Alright, nothing crazy, but not too bad. Stage 5, we get splinters. You can go get some customizable containers. Stage 6, we have another 5 gold boosters, so another 100 gold. Stage 7, we get an animated Frosty avatar. Honestly, the avatar is pretty sick, so I can't complain there. Stage 8, another 3 times 5 boosters. Stage 9, we get another 2300 XP. Stage 10 is going to give you a quest. Completing this is going to give you the dog background if you missed it this week. It's honestly a pretty solid background, and yeah, I can't complain. If you like dogs, definitely get that completed. Stage 11 gives you a crate. To be honest, I've forgotten what's in the crate, but I'm pretty sure that's a customization camo container, so it's not going to have any vehicles or anything like that, but it'll be a good camo. Stage 12, you get another camo. I like to call it Grandma's Rug, but it's a camo. And then stage 13, another times 5 booster, which is really solid. 2300 XP for stage 14. And stage 15, we get the Frosty Snowman attachment. And we also get the IS-2 Shielded. It's actually incredible. I mean, it's very rare, as I said, that Wargaming just gives vehicles away for free, especially without actually having to do any special event. But yeah, all you gotta do is log in, starting December 4th, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this is by far just a massive W. I will personally be doing this on my EU account because it's just a free tank, so why wouldn't I do it? In terms of statistics, if you're wondering how the vehicle looks, it's actually pretty solid. Compared to the Tech Tree IS, it has quite a bit higher amount of DPM, 2,111 compared to 1,965, both running gun rammer. Pen-wise, they're basically the same on all their rounds, 212 versus 217, and 175 versus 170. So, yeah, in terms of the gun, the IS Shielded is much better, and we can see that's also the case for the gun handling. Sure, the aiming time is 10% worse, but the base dispersion is 5% better, and the on-movement dispersion is also much better, meaning that the aiming time is actually quite a bit better on the IS-2 Shielded. Sure, it says it's worse on paper, but when you add in other characteristics like on-movement dispersion, essentially it means that it's actually going to be probably about 15 to 20% more accurate on move, and just in general aiming in. Same gun depression. Mobility wise, they're pretty similar. You can see it goes 32 versus 34, a little bit slower in reverse. In terms of power to weight, a little bit less, but that's actually not the case for effective power to weight. While the IS may have more horsepower, In reality, its terrain resistances are much worse, giving the IS-2 shielded actually better top speed and overall performance on any terrain. Traverse speed is basically the same, camo is the same, and in terms of hit points, you actually have 50 more with the IS-2 shielded. Armor, the turret is flat better in every single stat for the IS-2 shielded, and the armor should be pretty similar for these vehicles. Obviously, the IS-2 shielded is based off of the IS-2 hull, so even though it says the IS has more at 155, you have to remember that the IS-2 shielded's armor is angled, and what that means is that it's actually about 180 to 90 millimeters on that upper plate at a flat slope, compared to about the 170 that the IS has because it's kind of flat. So overall, the IS-2 shielded is flat better than the Tech Tree IS in every single way. It's pretty surprising that Wargaming's actually giving this tank away for free. I thought it would be a bundle, but yeah, I'm not going to complain. Good job, Wargaming. And now we break into the main event that all of you want to hear about, the Blitz Fair. It will be starting December 11th, which is actually not too far away, only 9 days from today's recording. Now, for any of you that have been in previous Blitz Fairs, it's exactly the same. There's going to be the same gold boxes, the same free XP boxes, the snow globes are going to work the same way, and obviously it's going to be the same for the event grind as well. So there's nothing special when it comes to the Blitz Fair itself. The event is exactly the same. If you're new to the game and you don't know what it was like last year because you weren't there, it's pretty simple. We got snow globes, we got two different types of crates. So we got free XP crates. Let's say that you've been playing Blitz for the whole year, you've been saving up for your free XP, and you've got 2 million. Well, now you can spend it all on these crates here. You have 50 that are 50,000 XP, and then once you blow through those 50 crates, they're going to go to 100,000 XP, and then it's going to give you a slightly better drop chance to get this snow globe in the center. The drop chance for snow globes at the 50,000 mark is 1%. Pretty dookie, not gonna lie, but if you can open 50 crates, then you might get 1 or 2 just by sheer luck, which is actually pretty nice. Snow globes always give you a guaranteed vehicle, which is actually really good, ranging from tier 7 to tier 10. None of the tanks are bad in the snow globe, which is why I always recommend to grind the event to get one for free. The gold boxes are a little different. The way gold boxes work is they give you a 10% drop chance for the snow globe, so much better, but it is 1,500 gold a gold box. Every 5 you open, you get a little ticket which allows you to open 1 more. So essentially you open 5, you get a 6th one for free. It's not going to be cheap to get your hands on the XM66F if you're a player that wants to get it. Probably be at least $100 to $200, but you do have to remember that there are gold boxes that you can get, so you can get a lot of gold on discount. So you can probably get it for about $100 if you get discounted gold, which isn't too bad, especially for what is a really, really strong looking tier 10. Now, the other way you can get the snow globe instead of gambling on crates is the event. In front of us, we can see there's gold boosters and all these things, and if you keep grinding all the way to the end, you have the choice of a Chrysler K and a snow globe. Now, I would always recommend, as I do every year, to get the snow globe before you get the Chrysler. Yes, the Chrysler is a really solid tank. Here's my advice. If you don't have enough time to get the snow globe because it does require more battles won, then obviously just get the Chrysler because you can just grab it. But if you grab the Chrysler and then you think you have enough games to get the snow globe and then you don't, you're going to miss out on possibly a tier 10, something like the Caro. So yeah, my advice, always pick up the snow globe. It's just way better than the free tank. If this event is anything like last year in terms of grinding, it's probably going to take you 300 to 350 wins to get your hands on the snow globe. So it's not going to be an easy grind, but if you got time and you're on winter break, I would highly recommend to do so because it is obviously a free tank and sometimes it can be an absolutely incredible tank. Now, I got some interesting news. Turns out that the Icy Surprise, you know, that thing that's been sitting in our garage, this little thing right here, is not actually going to give us the tier 6 Frosty. Wargaming just showed that in the video and just completely confused us all. It actually turns out the Icy Surprise is going to give us 2,024 gold. Honestly, not going to complain. That's a lot better than the tank. Selling the Frosty is only going to give you 500 gold, so this is going to give you 2,000 gold. So that's a flat dub. Not going to complain at all there. See, Wargaming did solve the problem. I think maybe originally they were going to give the Frosty away with the Icy Surprise, but after the backlash of everybody saying that it's like the worst reward ever, they decided, you know what, okay, fine, we'll just give them some more gold, which I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm quite happy with that. So overall, that's basically most of the information when it comes to the Blitz Fair. The last thing I thought we'd talk about is this, the XM66F, the Tier 10 American Collector TD. Wargaming has changed it a little bit in terms of the statistics. They've definitely had a struggle balancing this vehicle. It originally had 4,000 DPM, which was broken, and they had to nerf it. So they nerfed it down to like 3,200, which was terrible. And then they said, okay, fine, we'll buff it. So now it's in a middle ground, 3,562 DPM if you are running Rammer, and if you're running Cali, 3,300 DPM. Not only did the vehicle get right about smack middle of the DPM between the two test versions, but the biggest problem with the tank that I talked about with my original stat review of the vehicle was the pen finally got buffed. If we take a look at the heat now, we can see that the vehicle has 340 mils of heat pen. And that means if you're running Rammer, you will have enough pen to cut through the majority of tanks. But if you're like me running Cali, you will have 374, which will actually be really solid. Originally, it was only 310 mils of pen, which was just absolutely terrible. So I'm really glad they buffed that. It's actually going to make the tank properly good in a frontline situation. So the DPM is fantastic. The pen is really good now. It's also got pretty nasty HE alpha at 470. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it'll still boost your DPM over 4K. So yeah, in terms of the gun, pretty good. We can see I'm comparing it to the Badger. So slightly less DPM, about 10% less, worse alpha, worse penetration. Even the premium penetration is quite a bit worse. But it gets made up for in terms of the dispersion and the on-movement dispersion. The Badger has a 40% better aiming time than the XM66F. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wow, the gun's not that accurate then. Well, that's not the case. First of all, the XM has much better base dispersion, and this is the part that's really going to make it much better than the Badger. On-movement dispersion is only 0.15, 0.16. That's super good. If you're running V-stabs on the vehicle, you're going to get that down to 0.14. It's actually going to make the tank properly accurate, and it's going to allow the vehicle to get out some pretty nasty shells. So in terms of the gun, I actually think it's going to be quite solid. 10 degrees of gun depression, and it has a turret that turns 45 degrees to the left and to the right, giving you a 90-degree arc in total. Another thing about the vehicle is that it goes 40. Yeah, you wouldn't think a vehicle that has super good armor can reach a top speed of 40, but it can. Goes 40, reverses at 20. Yes, you heard that right. Wargaming has not nerfed the reverse. This thing's going to be busted. Like, I'm going to be real. It reverses at 20. I should also mention that it has the reserve track mechanic. So even if the vehicle gets tracked, it can still reverse. It's got decent traverse speed at 30 degrees a second, only 2 degrees off from the Badger. It's looking pretty nasty, I'm going to be honest. Hit points, 1900, so pretty solid. If you aren't running HP, you can get that up to about 2024, and obviously the turret armor is absolutely busted on the vehicle. It's going to be insane. I mean, the testers are doing crazy in the tank. I've not seen a vehicle have this good average damage in a while for testing. Now, this could be in the previous stats, but either way, I'm going to be honest. The tank right now seems really good. Like kind of OP levels of good. That reverse speed paired with the top speed, paired with the DPM, paired with the accuracy and armor, it's going to be a Concept 1B turned into a tank destroyer with more armor. I don't know what to say. We'll have to see how the vehicle is when it gets released, but I can tell you now, be prepared for these things to dominate the battlefield. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. There's obviously some more information here and there, but for the most part, I figured we would break into the XM66F when the Blitz Fair is coming out, which as I said is December 11th, and the IS-2 Shielded that you can get for absolutely free. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.